Hello, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Joining Me Today podcast with me, Bailey Ewer Smith, a guy who seems to forget when things happen because I am currently not in my usual setup. I got the days wrong and I am now miles and miles away from my own house. And I actually brought my desktop in a car ride with me. What do you mean I'm a weirdo? But anyway, welcome back to another episode of the podcast, episode 24 and stuff. I'm so excited to have another fantastic episode, presenting it out to you guys and stuff. I love this show. I love all the people out there that go give my episodes a chance. If it's one, multiple of them, whatever you do, I highly appreciate it. I've got another fantastic guest on the show. But before we get started, quick song recommendation time. And today's recommendation is actually going to be a song called Stray by the Mysterines. The Mysterines are amazing, a fantastic indie rock, sort of grunge rock band and sort of rock band from all the way up in Liverpool. They're really sort of getting out there in the scene and all that at the moment. Recently just toured with Arctic Monkeys actually, and stuff just opened for them and stuff. And I'm going to be seeing them next month and stuff in June actually in a festival in Ipswich. So I'm really excited about that. And Stray is a fantastic song by them on their new album, Afraid of Tomorrows. It's really good. You guys should definitely go check it out. But anyway, onto the main portion of this episode. Today, I am joined by indie artist, singer-songwriter, and a folk punk. That's the one. I was like, hang on, is that right? Yes, it is. That's the right genre. Folk punk artist and stuff, all the way from Colchester. Once again, the local scene to me, although it's not at the moment, but you get the point and stuff. Welcome to the show, Fraser Morgan. How you doing, sir?
Hello, Bailey. I'm very good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I saw you were laughing along in the intro there, so I appreciate the
I did. I was
validation
making me
to
laugh.
my
I
need.
wouldn't. I wouldn't say you were weird for bringing your desktop. I say you're committed.
That's what I tell myself to console myself. I was just very determined.
Committed.
I'm committed to the job.
There we go. Passionate. Exactly. That's what employers like.
The first question I always like to ask my guests is, what song recommendation would you like to give out and stuff to the listeners?
Oh, fantastic question. I mean, I'm listening to there's a variety of artists that I'm kind of spinning at the moment. I mean, independent artist wise, Jack Walsh has got a song called Kintsugi, which is one of my favorite songs of all time. And then also Zach Bryan. I didn't think I'd get into Zach Bryan, but I did by accident. And he's got a song called She's Alright, which is, I believe, about his mum. And then what else have I listened to recently? Because I put it into my likes. Where is it? I love Medium Build. There's an artist called Medium Build. Um, and they're fantastic. And they've got a gorgeous song called Especially Me, but they've got a live version of it. So I'd highly recommend. They're my recommendations, basically.
Yeah, that's some good recommendations. Actually, the second time we've had Zach Bryan and stuff recommended on this show, actually. So, like, yeah, so a
Interesting.
bit of Zach Bryan love on this show, actually. And stuff. Yeah, good recommendations, all good music and stuff. He's gonna give some good recommendations because he's a great artist, and I give good recommendations because I'm bribing all of you to like him. I don't know, I can think of a joke in time. But
Exactly.
anyway.
Yeah.
But anyway, so on to the sort of main questions of the show and stuff. The first question I like to ask and stuff, speaking about music, speaking about interests and stuff, what was your relationship with music actually growing up? And was folk sort of music and sort of more guitar music, was that sort of in like was that there in your interest as you was growing up with music?
No. Uh, I didn't really I didn't really have an interest in music growing up. I
Wow.
liked rhyming. I knew I liked rhyming. I would just listen to what my mum put on, like a lot of James Blunt, a lot of David Gray, like Phil Collins, Genesis, and like Dolly Parton. But I don't feel like any of that really kind of contributed to why I'm here today. I think what did contribute was my love for hip hop. I I seen something advertised and I said, Mum, I want it for Christmas. And it was my eighth Christmas. And my mum bought me Curtain Call by Eminem. And I don't think any parent should buy their child that album, especially 8 years old. Maybe a teenager, I get it, but I definitely wouldn't let an 8-year-old listen to it. But mum didn't know what was on it, bless her. So I learnt some questionable things from that album, but I loved it. It was really fun. Like Mockingbird was the first ever song that I learned all the words to. I'm like 8, 9 years old, like rolling these words off. So I've always really loved it. I can't remember half my own lyrics now, but I won't get into that. But and then through like my teen years, I was just listening to like what was in the charts. It was really bland and basic. And then it wasn't until I was about 15, 16 or so that I heard Ed Sheeran. And I was like, this guy's kind of rapping and he's rhyming and it's with an acoustic guitar. This feels like something I can do. And so I got a guitar for my birthday, for my 15th birthday, I believe, and taught myself out of a library book. And it kind of went from there, really. Um, yeah, that was the first one. And then what kind of really got me into like, I'd always watch a lot of Ed Sheeran interviews because I just really liked his work ethic, really. And he seems pretty sound. And his inspiration was a band called Nisloppy, who I have learned so much from as an artist, like as them being an artist. And they're so playfully creative with their lyricism and their performance, and they have fun with it. So Ed Sheeran kind of gave me this work ethic type of stuff, and kind of helped me merge these two worlds together. And Nisloppy really kind of showed me how to have fun and put on a show and perform, if that makes sense.
It's like the combination between the two, and sort of because a lot of artists, I feel like they just sing the songs in it, but it's there's something about that concert experience. It's about having sort of little jokes or little things and all
That's
that.
right.
Like, so I do get what you mean on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I like to, when people come to see me live, like in my head, um, I like to give a show and put on a show that you won't, that is pretty unique in that moment, because it generally is. And also that you can't be like, I want to give you stuff that you can't get from sticking my playlist on Spotify, and what when I go and see a show, I I'm going to see a show not just for the songs. The songs are great, but the bits in between the songs, the chat and like the laughter and the messing about and stuff. And so I try and emulate that in my own performance. And I've always I always try and be one of those artists where I'd much rather be an artist who people say their recordings are good but they're better live, rather than like their recordings are amazing but they're not as good live. Like I'd much rather it be kind of the other way around. Or just like they're both great sort of thing. But yeah, I'd rather that dynamic with it. And so yeah, it's a lot of just like messing about, not taking it too seriously, self-depreciation, and depending on the venue or the festival, the size of it, like a lot of talking to the crowd, like pointing people out and conversing with these people. These are things that I really try and bring, just have a laugh. I try and keep it as normal and human as possible, because like I'm not special, and that's okay. I don't want to be, and we're all the same. Like we've all woken up in that morning, probably woken up instantly tired and with backache, worrying about the stuff that we've got going on today. So we're all just very the same. And so I'm just quite normal. Like I feel like the person that you see on the stage is more or less the same off stage, but on stage, I do let my personality go wild a bit. It's my safe space to kind of, because I was recently diagnosed with ADHD, but that on stage is that safe space for me to just go. It's an acceptable space for me to go a little bit crazier and a little bit more amplified than I usually would in public, because I know how to act as a functioning human in public. But when you go and see a gig, you're there to be entertained. And so I use that part of myself and dial it up. And so that not only does it benefit me because I get to get out of my system, but then it benefits those who are watching because they're seeing something that's a bit weird or a bit crazy or a bit different, or something that'll make them smile or laugh. So
Your 1,000th gig as well. Speaking of gigs and stuff, I bet you're well excited for that one.
yeah, that's a plethora of emotions around the 1,000th, because I haven't had really chance to digest how I feel around it yet, because it has been non-stop, like since January, March, about March-ish, I think. It's been slowly ramping up. And so, because I'm doing it all myself, there's so much that people don't see that goes on. But yeah, it definitely is a huge, a diverse amount of emotions, if you will. There's excitement, obvious. There's pure joy. I'm very ecstatic. Um, not so much nervous. The only thing I'm nervous about is making sure I don't go over, because they said once it hits curfew, they have to turn like all the power off on the stage. So I tend to talk a lot. So that's my only thing I'm nervous about. But then there's also, I'm quite exhausted. And once it goes, as part of me's gonna be like, okay, cool, like I've got a bit of that time. But then I'm anxious because I always need something to focus on and work towards. So I'm having to line some things up for when that's done. Um, and then also, yeah, there's also a lot of like I've had. It's been really interesting. I didn't expect it to, but it became an opportunity. This thousandth gig and planning for it and having it occur, if you will, again. It's presented me with this opportunity to really hold a mirror up to myself and question who I am, why I do music, what I got into music, and do I still want to do music, right? And I think it's really good to ask yourself these questions about anything in life. And I realized I was harboring a lot of pain from when I was younger. I because I've gone to lots of therapy, and I realized that music was a distraction for me. Like playing it was good fun, but like planning and working towards something kept me busy and gave me something to focus on and work towards, and almost like an escape from the chaos of which I called my life for a huge long number of years. Um, whereas now, because I was like, I don't really relate to that anymore, and I felt a bit odd. But I've now realised that the reason why I'm still in music and will continue to stay in doing music is I really, really like the human aspect of it. I've learned, and these are always things that I'm practicing, but I've learned just to really have fun with it, just not take it too seriously. Like my quote unquote job, if you will, in music is I get to, I don't know, wake up and travel to the gig and get there, do a bit of sound checking, have some scran and that, and then get to chat to people, and then I get to go a bit crazy for like half an hour to an hour and a half, and then get to travel somewhere else. And it's very rare you get to do that in a job where you're allowed to like fully be yourself, go a bit crazy and see those places and meet those people. So I've learned to really appreciate that and just play with it. And this is what I mean. I don't take it too seriously. Like I meet some bands and artists and stuff who like they take it quite seriously. And it's like, and that's not a bad thing. That works for them. But I just couldn't imagine the stress that puts on that person. Now I think to a degree you have to have a degree of professionalism and so on and so forth. But I also believe that I don't know, it's there to be enjoyed. Like leave your ego at the door. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about how you look and that. Just have a laugh. So, but yeah, but then yeah, so it's been an opportunity basically for me to reflect on a lot of stuff, and had to kind of go back over my life and painful years in my life, and but now it's slowly kind of transforming, if you will, into something positive, which is great. But it's going to be the first time in my life where I feel like I'm allowed to give myself a pat on the back, because for many, 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 many years, I'm like a horse with the visors on, like the police horses, it's just straightforward sort of thing. And so this is going to be the first time that I feel like the kid inside of me who's really gone through it, who's bullied at school, was told no by the teachers or the people around him that he was rubbish or he wouldn't go anywhere or all these other bad things that happened to me, I feel like he can relax a bit, which is quite sweet. So there's also that kind of uh, degree of emotion to all of this, because I'm very bad at stopping, and I'm never. What brought this up is all that thinking, and I've never been able to give myself a pat on the back and be like, "Well done," because I've never feel like I've really achieved anything, and because I'm not living off music and stuff because I wanted that for so long, and I think that was to escape. And now I've been able to really look at it a different way and be like, "This is fantastic. Don't worry." So yeah, so it's a big old hug to that child in me who has a lot of hurt, bless him. So it's gonna be good. I'm really looking forward to it. That was a TED talk. I apologize.
Hey, this is a podcast, that's what it's all about, sort of, divulging and stuff like that, just being honest and having long discussions. I'm all good with that. And you definitely deserve to give
Good.
yourself a pat on the back and stuff like that because your music is great. And that, this is your 1,000th gig, you know what I mean? Not everybody out there can say they've done that, and you've done that and you really have
Mm,
earned your stripes and stuff. So you definitely deserve
thank
to
you.
pat yourself on the back 100%. What sort of time frame was you already thinking, oh, I might do something special here?
Um, I put a post on Facebook in the summer of 2022 as a note to myself, being like, "Hi Fraser, it's me, Fraser, sort of thing."
Yeah.
Um, I think I was at 718 gigs, and I said in it, "You're 25 at the moment. By the time you're 27, like I want you to be at 1,000 gigs, or this time in 2 years, I want you to be at 1,000 gigs." I didn't think it would happen, and then I came across the status the other week. I remembered it, and I was like, "I did it! It's mental. What? That's a complete accident, right?" I remember sitting at my friend's flat, writing that, and it's happened. I was like, "Mad." In the pipeline, I've been planning this since July or August 2023. So that's when I've been planning it since. And I was like, I reckon I could hit 1,000 within, like, I think it was like 9, 10 months at the time. So I reckon I could do that. I don't know how much I was on at the time, probably about, I don't know, 850 or something. And I was like, I could definitely do that. And so yeah, and I messaged Art Centre and I said, let's do it. And I rented it out myself with my record label that I've started, and it's, yeah, to raise money for charity. It's gonna be a really really fun night. I tell you what's quite funny though is so my whole life, Bailey, is I've always thought June was the eighth month. Um, Actually, it's August, which I should know because it's my birthday. So I should know this. I should know. Yeah, I should know August is the eighth month, not June.
I was thinking,
When I
hang on a minute,
announced
that's even more, isn't it? Because it's like if it's in your birthday, you would be writing it down on info, doctor's appointments, whatever. That's
everywhere,
crazy.
I see it every day. And about 15 minutes after I announced the 1,000th gig in December, I realised, oh, that's the sixth month, not the eighth. And I hadn't given myself much time to fit in the rest of the gigs that I needed. And I was quite concerned because I was like, I've just announced this gig in the second or first week of December. Nothing's going on for the rest of December. The majority of the start of January, nothing's going on. And February's a push. And I'm like, what have I done? And I remember chatting to my partner and I was like, I basically had like a borderline existential crisis. Um, I did it. I did
You
it.
did it though.
Look at that. It all worked out in the end.
The part of me and stuff like that, there's like a massive like I double check things and stuff like that constantly. That is something where if I did, that's why I double check things because of moments like that. If that happened to
Yeah.
me, I'd be like, oh, that's it, I'm done, I'm finished. That ain't gonna be 1,000th gig. It's gonna have to be the 978th or something.
Well, I was kind of worried about the same thing because I was like, it's just, I don't know if I'm gonna hit. I need to try and hit it. I need to send it and just go mental on it. But I trust myself. I've really learned to trust myself in doing it with help from my friends, my partner. And thankfully, it's somehow I pulled it out the bag. I have no idea how, but people kept asking me to play gigs, and I kept saying yes. So here we are. So yeah, so here we are.
So actually, that leads on and stuff like that really well and stuff like that for me to say, it's the 8th of June and stuff, the 6th month, not the 8th month, the 8th of June and stuff like that. It's going to be a fantastic gig if you guys can make it and stuff like that. Colchester Arts Centre, it's going to be a fantastic venue in Colchester. I'm going to try my best to go if I can and stuff to go see yous. I
Legend.
love to support yous and stuff. But speaking of, funny enough, you mentioned your record label actually, Sad Buds Records and
Mm.
stuff like that. That you
Mhm.
started. And stuff you'd mentioned that.
Mhm.
How did that actually like sort of come about? You owning your own sort of record label?
as are most things in my life, this was an accident. I moved back from Ireland in May 2021. My friend Dan Warburton said, "Do you want to come and play an acoustic night with me at Colchester?" And I said, "Yeah, no worries." So, a little acoustic night on a Tuesday. We did one, and then we started to do the monthly. And I was like, "We should change the name from Sad Boys because we want to make it inclusive." Because at the time it was just like 3 or 4 of us lads. And he was like, "Yeah, we'll call it Sad Buds Nights." And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it. That sounds good to me." So the picture's starting to form, and then I was like, "We should put on a music festival in December and call it Merry Sadmas and raise money for charity." And he was like, "Yep." So we did. And then a few months later, I'd come across this artist called Jack Walsh when I mentioned at the start. He played his song Kintsugi, and like listening to that song, it just made me feel like I was sat there like looking at a fire almost, that tranquility. And I said to Dan, I was like, "I think we need to turn this into like a record label of some sort and use knowledge that we have to help artists." And so I changed it from Merry Sadmas to then Sad Buds Records. And I use it as a platform to give artists any help or advice they may want. I think I've learned a lot along the way. I don't know everything, but I always say I don't have all the answers, but if you have any questions, I'll answer them to the best I can. I don't think any knowledge should be gatekept. I think all knowledge should be democratized. And if questions arise, and I think they should be answered. And so I'm here to help. I now run it with Jake Cheek, as Dan kind of took a step back because he's quite busy. But yeah, and we use it just to put on events, raise money for local charities, give artists opportunities to play, and help venues kind of raise money. And yeah, I just use it to help people. I don't make any money from it. I don't want to. Like, it doesn't bother me. I just want to help people. I've put together like a 10 or 12 page PDF of all the things that I've learned that have helped me get me to where I am now. And I just give it out to people. I'm like, "Yeah, if you want it, take it. I don't care. Here's the hyperlink for it. Like, go mad. Like, it doesn't bother me." Because yeah, I just think it's important. And you know, being signed to a major label or another label, it's not like on my radar at the moment. But who knows? I might be able to just do it myself, and I can use my Sad Buds records. Who knows?
Never know. You never know about the future. I wish I could do some of the things you do, man. I wish I had my own label and be able to do this, do that, and help people. You're making me jealous here. You never know. Could start the JMT podcast network, and you're making me think of ideas now. So I'm getting in the mood.
Do you know I also had my own podcast as well? Um, I think I don't know how many episodes I did quite a few. I had to stop doing it because I got too busy, but I did my own podcast and I loved it. I don't just do everything that you want to do, like, and just no one else is going to make it happen other than you. And at the end of the day, it's not in a pessimistic way, but to a degree, you can't rely on anyone to help you. You just got to do it yourself. Like, I don't like to wait around people. I like just to get it done because I don't want to wait. I don't want to waste my time. Just do it. So, but have these ideas, like go crazy, have fun, try it all, fail as much as you can because it's so important to practice failure. Like, I failed so much in my life, and I have received far more rejections than I have acceptances. But practicing rejection and practicing failure, I'm just numb to it now, to the point that I don't care. So usually people are too scared to try in case they fail, or they're too scared to try in case they're rejected. I failed so many times now and been rejected so many times now. I'm just like, I've got no fear to do it. I've got no fear to try. Like today, for example, I mean, I still see this as a giant success, but today I got told that I never made it through, but I got long listed down to 25 people to play at Isle of Wight Festival. Now, that is a huge, in my way I see it, that's a great success, right? That's 20, I got in within the top 25. I don't know where in the top 25, but I was in the top 25 out of, I don't know how many people. That's insane. Whereas before, I wouldn't have seen it like that. I would have been, oh, I haven't been offered something. Oh, I've been rejected. They said no to me. Whereas now I'm just like, sound. I got long listed. All right, sweet. Like, that's cool. Like, someone noticed me. Like, that's so nice. So, and it just really helps. So fail often, get used to rejection, and you'll succeed far more than those around you.
And it's also kind of how you measure success in it. I think a lot of people out there in it, they sort of measure success as, oh, it's what people have got on Instagram and stuff like that, and what I've seen other people do and my peers. And it's about, no, you can measure your own success. Like if you feel in yourself that that is something that's successful, even if it's just completed one song, that's amazing. You know what I mean? It's all
So
about.
yeah, you've hit it the nail on the head there. Sorry to interrupt, because sorry, you carry on.
That's cool. Oh no, it's all right and stuff. It's just me. I talk a load of rubbish anyway, but but
No,
no.
you don't. No, there's a lot of substance in what you say, but I think you've hit it on the head there. Like, I had to reevaluate how I defined my success, because I said I want to live with it for a long time. And I do this thing where I like to look at people's success stories, artists that I like, and see how they've done it. And then I always think of how old they were and get myself down. And I've learned to now slowly but surely look at the numbers around things less, and pay less time at looking at what those around me are doing. Not in a way of I don't want to know, I don't care sort of thing, or narcissistic or anything. It's because me personally, when I see, if I take a second to look around and see what other people are doing, they could be doing anything, but the minute I see anything, I instantly feel worthless, and I feel like my efforts are a waste. It feels like nothing's going to happen for me. It feels impossible. It could be anything. And so I've learned just to like not look at other people's Instagrams, or look at other people's Spotify's and look at their stats, because it's not a jealousy thing. There's definitely a sense of envy, because that's what I want, which is great. But it's because I turn that into self-destruction and self-annihilation, which therefore means that I'm going to spend the next 4 days not wanting to write songs, not looking forward maybe to getting out of bed and playing a gig, or not wanting to go out there and look for gigs or opportunities. And so it derails me. And so I've really learned just to be like, am I having fun? Yes. Keep doing it then.
So we spoke about, your record label. We spoke about, your upcoming 1,000th gig and stuff. And we've even, looked a bit at the past and stuff. And we've even had some philosophical chat and all that. But now I want to talk your latest single actually and stuff. This Is My City is a really good song. You guys should definitely go check it out. And I, I think you might be able to tell from the sort of title and stuff like that. But tell us, what's the song all about and stuff, like what does it mean to you and stuff, and like, yeah, how did it all come
So
about in the first place?
yeah, so oh, sorry. Do you know when you forget how to swallow? I just forgot how to swallow. Do you know your brain ever do that? You're just like, anyway,
And you're
you can
worried
leave it
that's
in the
it, you're
podcast.
going to suffocate in it. Is that fear? It's
I'm
like,
like,
oh
that's it. My
God.
my body has frozen. I've forgotten how to swallow. I'm dead. So you can leave it in, because that's absolutely hilarious. Um, I'm so happy I've chatted to so many people about that, and everyone has it. It's so funny. A song, yes. So This Is My City. I was driving home down Queen Street in Colchester, also known as Kebab Alley because of the multiple kebab shops. And I was just basically stopped. I couldn't go anywhere because there were police. There was a police car on the street, and two or three of these like male chavs were just like giving the police grief. We're just basically throwing punches and that for absolutely no reason. And there's this woman who's like, she's been being put into the back of the car. She's like, I'll change the name, but she was like, oh, Daniel, no. Like, it was kicking off. And I was sat there and I was like, this is absolutely fantastic. I need to write about this. And I sat there for a bit. And they cleared off in the end. They got it sorted. And I went home. And I love an artist called Louis Dunford, and I was listening to a lot of Louis Dunford. And I went home, and usually I'm quite like riffy. Not riffy, sorry. Quite rhythmic with my playing. And so this time, I was just playing like I was just finger picking, like a little riff, really simple. And then this song just like kind of fell out of me. So it's an amalgamation of all different things that I've seen, but it's a celebration of all the imperfect things that make where you live kind of where you live. The people who fight in kebab shops, the people who we on the streets, the people who are passed out on the curb, and so on and so forth. And it's just a light-hearted kind of, it's a self-aware kind of, not self-depreciation as such, but it's self-aware of all the things that are wrong with some parts of where we live, but it's also quite comical at times. So I wrote a song about it, and it yeah, and people really liked it. I didn't think anyone would. So I released it as a single. I didn't think I was ever going to, but I did, and it's been surprisingly really well received. So, and the music video, I don't have any money, so I didn't know what to do. So the music video, I was running one of my Sad Buds Records nights, and I just put a GoPro on my chest and slapped it on my head and pointed it at my face and went out and ran this gig and got drunk. So
I do like that music video and stuff like that, especially the idea with the GoPro and stuff like that. That's such a good idea. I'm like, I'd love to do that idea now and stuff for like a music video or something else. Like, that's a really good idea. Like
thank
it
you.
yeah, it was really, really good. I really like the line you said in that song as well, where you said, like, I wouldn't want it any other way. And a lot of people would sort of be, the way you describe it, saying about you wrote it about, what I mean, when people thinking with the police and all that, and people screaming, whatever, people would think like, well, would you really want to then put that? You wouldn't want it any other way, but it's just a weird charm to it. You know what I mean? Like in terms of these
Yeah,
cities where you live in it. That's what you're getting at, isn't it?
I think it's that British thing that we have where we know that there are so many things wrong with how we operate as British people, and sometimes the people that we have running stuff. But it's almost like we're just so fully aware of it, and so we just make a joke of it because what else are we going to do? It's almost like the ship is sinking, and we're just like, what are you going to do? Like it's that British thing. So I think, yeah, it's not literally like I wouldn't have it any other way, but it's just like the feeling I have towards a song is like, when someone drops a glass in a pub and the entire pub goes away, right? Obviously, it's not ideal, but it's ingrained in our culture, and it's just one of those little things. Like, it's a bit harmless fun and stuff, and like that's one of the things I wouldn't have any other way. But yeah, as I said, it is very self-aware, and it's definitely not to romanticize these aspects of what I would probably say is our culture or what exists within our culture. Um, but it's more just having a bit of a laugh about it.
Yeah, yeah, and I could definitely sort of relate with that and stuff like that, and sort of like where sort of I live and stuff like that. It's quite similar to Colchester, and I sort of get that vibe. You know what I mean? You see those sort of things out there with sort of the typical British things, like you say and stuff, but it is that thing of we are very self-aware of that. You know what I mean? We know sort of that's going on around us and stuff like that. And sort of sometimes you've
Exactly.
got to sort of laugh at it, but you kind of it's home in a way, in it. It's just that Britishness. It feels like home. It's so that's definitely something I
Spot
can
on.
relate to. And your song definitely does a really good job at representing that. So if you guys can go check it out, This Is My City, fantastic song. Stream
Thank
it
you.
on Spotify, Apple Music, your carrier pigeons music service, whatever you got. We spoke about sort of, like we spoke a little bit about future plans and stuff like that. Spoke about singles and all that. But what other future plans have you got lined up? Maybe a future EP release, maybe even an album one day.
Maybe an album one day. It's not on my radar at the moment. I have no desire to do an album. Um, I think I will find myself in that place. But not just yet. Like I'm good with little singles, and an EP and stuff. Like I think, yeah, in terms of musical work, maybe another single. And I don't know how much really I'm allowed to say, but I'm very busy, put it that way. Like after the 1,000th, every weekend I've got a festival somewhere, at least once or twice. I've been offered a very big festival, which I didn't think I'd ever get offered. I was chatting to someone yesterday actually. I don't know if it's going to happen. I'm not going to get my hopes up, but they said they might have a slot for me at Glastonbury, so that's quite cool. So we'll see what happens there. That's pretty mad. But I don't know if it's going to happen. Probably not. I don't know. I'm just going to get my hopes up. But just to be offered that is really lovely. They said they'll check out what they've got going on, but I think they might. But yeah, it's just festivals, and then I'm basically working towards something that's going to keep dancing around it. I'm working on something at the moment that's definitely going to keep me busy for the end of the year. Put it that way. Put it that way.
So basically,
Right.
watch this space. We'll see what happens and stuff. I hope you do actually get that Glasgow spot. That'd be awesome. Yeah,
It'd be
I
quite
bet
funny,
you're a
wouldn't
bit
it? Yeah.
nervous about that.
No, not nervous as such, because I don't really know what to expect. I'm just like, I don't know really how I feel towards it. It's quite cool. Like, I'll give them that. Like, it's quite cool, but I find it really funny. And I laugh at when these things come through. Like when I was told I was longlisted for I don't know why, I laughed. But when I told I got this big festival in August, like I laughed because I'm just like, it's just funny now. Like, I've got no manager. I'm not signed. I don't have a team around me. Like, it is literally just me. I've got my band and that, but it is just me. And so I'm getting all these like mad stuff happen to me. And I'm just like, fair enough. Like, I just find it hilarious. But you know, I I got here. I'm in the simplest forms. I'm just this like council house kids from Braintree who just liked a bit of music. I've been through it in my life. I don't know what that is really, and I'm very normal. There's nothing special about me. I don't have any family in industry. I don't have any like secret pots of money laying about. Like, I'm very, very normal. Um, and so sometimes, not that I get imposter syndrome as such, but I'm just like, I don't belong here, but I'm gonna pretend I do, and it's just funny. Like, so, but yeah, I've got a busy summer of festivals and stuff, and lots of new merch coming, and some new music will be coming. I will say that much, which I'm really excited about. Um, and yeah, I'm just really just sending it, just like giving it my all.
Yeah, and that sounds all sort of very sort of interesting and stuff. And I really like your honesty, by the way, and stuff. I like the fact that, like, sort of, going back to saying about being self-aware. I love how self-aware you are and stuff like that, your success and who you are and all that. And I really appreciate that and stuff like that when people are just sort of honest like that and stuff. Like this has been a fantastic episode and stuff with yourself. I
It's been
really
really good
appreciate it.
fun. I appreciate it. The thing is, right, is if I do end up living of this to whichever degree that is, like I don't want that to change. Like I'm very normal. Like there's nothing special about me, and I'm so okay with that, right? I there's no ego about me when it comes to that sort of thing. Oh, if everyone who kind of performs have a degree of ego to perform, right? Everyone has a degree of ego, but I don't have one in a way that I think I'm better than everyone. Like I know that everyone is intrinsically the same. They have the same value. I'm not better than anyone else. No one else is better than me. At the end of the day, we're all just bags of meat on stilts, powered by electricity, trying our best to survive. That is me, Beyonce, you, Rishi Sunak, whoever, like literally all the same. So it doesn't really matter. Just like have a laugh with life. Like when musicians have an ego about themselves, or like start acting different, or they change and stuff. I'm like, come on, like what you doing, you silly goose? I think you're allowed to be proud of yourself, but I think when people put themselves on the pedestal, that's when I'm a bit like, that's a shame. Like, just we're all the same in my head, and I I actively make sure that I don't lose that. Like I've seen it happen with bands when they have lost it, and yeah, it just doesn't go down very well. And I think people like it when you're normal. People like it when you know where you come from and who you are. You know, at the end of the day, I'm the same as everyone else. Sometimes I forget how to swallow.
And that's genuinely like sort of, like I've said a couple of times and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Like that's really sort of nice to hear, whatever and stuff. It's staying grounded is very important and stuff like that. And you do see some people, especially in stuff like music and all that and entertainment, people do sort of get a bit ahead of themselves. But like you say, we're all humans, in it. We're all just trying to figure our stuff out and all that. And so I really sort of connect with
Correct.
that. And sort of on
I
that
think you
note,
should be really proud of yourself. I was sorry, quick side note. I think you should be really proud of yourself for what you're doing here, Bailey, because I heard about you before you messaged me. Um, and you're doing really, really well. And what you're doing is really fun. It's creative. People are enjoying it. Like people are listening and watching. It's having an impact. And I don't know why you started it. It feels like you just have a passion for music and you love to chat, which is all you need. And I think you're smashing it. And I think you should be really proud of yourself. And I know that everyone you've interviewed and everyone who listens are very appreciative for how you're contributing to your corner of the world.
Oh, you're gonna make me cry, man. You're gonna make me tear up here, you know. It's only a Tuesday. I save
Oh,
my
mate.
crying for Thursdays, but anyway.
Yeah, Thursdays are cry days.
Oh, but no, sort of, I genuinely really mean that, man. Like, I really appreciate that a lot. You know, that's hit me right in the feels,
Absolutely.
genuinely, all jokes aside and stuff. But yeah, like, sort of to get onto the last question and stuff like that, I'm actually going to do things a little differently. I'm going to switch things up. Usually, I'd ask yourself, what is the most important piece of advice you would like give someone, such as myself, just like anyone, what would be the most important piece of advice? But I'm going to change it up a little. You said earlier about you wrote a letter to yourself and stuff like that about what you'd like to achieve in sort of 2 years and stuff time when you were 25. I'd like you now, if you was to write a letter now, let's say to your 18-year-old self and stuff like that, giving him sort of pieces of advice and stuff like that from what you've learned sort of in adulthood, what sort of advice would you give him?
Honestly, sign up for therapy and unlearn all the things that no longer help you, that once helped you but no longer do, you know, because they get in your way. And also, I found that no one is going to hate you as much as you hate yourself at the end of the day. And no one is thinking about you or thinking the things about you as much or if at all, right? So don't waste your time on that too much. You're going to a degree, and that's normal, it's fine. But bring yourself back down from the edge as quickly as you can. And, you know, just treat everyone with kindness and respect because they deserve it. Even the ones who don't, just do it because it's just the way to be. And you don't know who you're talking to and who's listening or who's watching, and being nice, not only do people deserve it, but it works in your favor a lot in life. And, you know, yeah, just slow down a bit and I don't know, yeah, it's gonna be all right. Um, it'll get worse. It always does. It has to get worse. And then it'll get better and then it'll get worse again. But I think, yeah, that's the biggest ones. Like, get out of your own way and try your best not to make your issues other people's because they're not, they're your issues. To take full accountability for them, own them, work on them, and get through them and over them. And just you deserve to become the person who you deserve to be, right? Essentially, like you deserve peace, and you're the only person you're going to be with yourself for a long, 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 long time. Every day, day in, day out, you're going to be joined to the hip of yourself, if you will. And so befriend them and be patient and compassionate to yourself like you would a friend. Because if you don't, it will get very, very noisy in your brain. And on those noisy days, it gets very, very difficult to carry on. So that's my bit that I would say to 18-year-old me.
Oh, that's genuinely was really amazing, man, and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And like, yeah, like sort of it's even though you're addressing it to yourself and stuff like that, that can sort of apply to anyone really in it of all sorts of ages and stuff. That's why I thought it was really fitting because it was like, you know what I mean? It's specific to yourself, whatever. And I could tell you're really passionate about sort of, you know what I mean, what you would tell your sort of younger self. But it's like I think it's stuff like that that anybody could take on board. I could take on board and stuff like that. You know what I mean? You know, like you're saying about sort of like sort of when you're sort of unlearn those things in it, you know what I mean, that no longer help you, or you're saying sort of, with like about the noise and stuff like that, you know what I mean, you can feel like you had like all these sort of voices, whatever, and stuff like that, and sort of realizing it's about, you're going to be with yourself for a long time in it, and it's about sort of acknowledging sort of that in it and taking that all on board and stuff. So I definitely sort of really appreciate that answer, man, and stuff. It's been a really good interview. I'm really happy. You can tell, big smiles on my face and stuff like that. I really appreciate all
Had
the
a brilliant
love.
time, and you're great to talk to. You're right. You're so fun to talk to, babe. You're a legend. You're a ball of light.
Oh, thank you. I'm gonna
Yeah.
take that. I'm going to put that on my wall now. It's going to be like, Bailey, you're a ball of light. And I'm going to be like, that's Fraser
Do
Morgan
it.
who told me that. So I appreciate that. This has been another fantastic episode and stuff like that. I'm really happy with it. Before we go, anything you want to shout out? I know we've covered a lot of different things, but just one big final shout out to things you want to give a shout out to. I'll give you the stage.
I mean, I think yeah, just be nice to yourself and each other. I think that's the biggest one, even though it's hard sometimes. Just practice doing it. That's my first one that came to my head, but the other one, I guess, is the obvious of, if you can come to the 1,000th gig on the 8th of June, please do in Colchester. If you can't, don't worry. Just if you can promise me to be nice to yourself, the people around you, that's all I care about. So
That was genuinely sweet that you didn't market yourself first. You actually did a really nice message. That was quite nice, actually, and stuff. But I'll do all your marketing for you then. If you're going to make me do it, then I'll do it, do it and stuff. But no, in all seriousness, go check him out if you can. 1,000th gig, 8th of June, Colchester Arts Centre. I know it's going to be fantastic. Check out on some of his music. He's got some great stuff out there. Check out This Is My City. We brought it up in this episode. Go check it out if you can. And just sort of keep an eye on his socials and all that, see what's going to be coming in the future. We could get some reveals. You could see him at Glasgow one day, you never know, and stuff like that. It's for the headline, innit? You're going to headline Glasgow, innit? That's what it is saying.
that's right. Yeah. That's right. I'm taking over the whole of Glastonbury.
But anyway, it's stuff. All jokes aside and stuff, it's been a fantastic episode. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. See you guys next time. I remember to look at the camera for the outro now. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you guys next time. Peace out.